Let's see. Maybe we're live, maybe we're not. Sorry, we had the dreaded blue screen of death, and
the blue. There you go. There's the blue that we were
That's why
talking
they don't
about.
use Windows in aerospace. It's like the last thing you want to see. General protection fault at or near 35,000 MSL. It's no.
no.
I'm thinking we're not going to do that. It won't work for everyone.
That's it. Yeah, I think we're back on. This is good. All right. Sorry about that. My goodness. So we were just talking about how you're able to keep your prices down by designing and manufacturing your own lights. Mm-hmm. I imagine that also that helps you with quality control. Is your if you get in there and micromanage the QC on the building of these lights.
Well, one of the things that we do that's a little different is our shop is ISO certified. It's ISO 9001, 14001 certified, which is a interesting thing. ISO is a hassle. And what 9000 does is it makes sure that your process is repeatable. You do it the same way every time. So if you build it bad, you build it bad consistently. It's the Burger King theory. Right. If you build it well, they will turn out well consistently. So anytime we say, okay, I want to make a change to something, it has to be documented, it has to be photographed, it has to be tested, it's quite a lot. And it's very, very detailed down to, and this is the glove that they will use. This is the color and type of glove that they will use when they're doing this operation. 14,001 is for environmental impact. It says that every year we hit the environment less. And it's continuous process improvement so that you end up polluting less and reducing your waste stream, and we're continuously trying to do that. Electronics is not a very big polluter, at least not the assembly part of it. But, we do have things that have to be dealt with, and, we try to make less and less and less of it every year.
Do you see other lighting companies trying to copy what you're doing?
You mean in terms of certification and
yes,
ISO?
Everything. Yeah.
I honestly don't know. Most of I do a lot of OEM stuff.
Okay.
People say, "Oh, I haven't used your lights." Yeah, you have, brother. I see them hanging. Oh, you make those? So that happens a fair amount, in fact.
Sure.
It's like the Avicii's better. Oh yeah, 5-year newer design. But most of what I see is almost everybody. It's made in China, and they are all very similar, especially in the HPS world. One of them is very much like another. There are only a half dozen guys that make the things with various names and labels and change the way the box looks. But you crack it open, it's like, hey, it's the same board inside. Hey, I recognize that. So, no, most of them haven't gone that route. I think, my buddy up in Tennessee, Steven, at HLG, he makes his own stuff, and he designs his own stuff. It's a hobbyist thing, though. They do very small things. But he's trying to do very much the same. I think eventually, the whole industry is going to go that way.
Sure.
There's only so long you can grab other people's stuff and put your name on it. Before somebody gets wise to it, it says, maybe we should get better stuff.
Yeah.
So when a grow light goes out, it costs you the light, but also it costs you, if you don't have a redundant light, I guess it could cost you the yield from that plant, from that section. Can you talk to us about how you would just about reliability and about the true cost of losing a light?
It's massive, and people don't think about it. It's like also when you put in an HPS light versus an LED, in 3 months, the HPS is 5% dimmer than it was. So it's producing 5% less sellable weight than it was. You say, wait a minute, let's just compute this just for a minute. You get my calculator out. You're saying 3 pounds of light, 5%. It's not a horrifying amount. 0.15 pounds. That's, I don't know, $800 a pound. It's $120 per light that you're going to lose because the lamp isn't performing. People don't change their lamps every 3 months. They change them every year. So you're going to lose 8% over that year. It's enough to pay for the LED, which is interesting, which is why the whole world's going LED. But when you have a light that fails, you lose quite a lot. Even if you have overlap and you've got lights surrounded by other lights in a big room, you could easily be at 50% brightness. If you lose one, you could lose quite a lot. And you say, well, how much are you raising? How much are you selling per light or per square foot, and how many lights are out and how many square feet are not being illuminated. And you say, okay, the metric that everybody looks at is, well, how many dollars per square foot does the facility produce? And you say, oh, good. Well, if I have 3 lights out, how many square foot am I not making that money? So it's a big deal. Sure. And also, you got to get somebody to go change the light, which means they got to get up on a ladder, work overhead over all your delicate plants, take the thing down, replace it. And it's not instantaneous. Most people don't keep spare lights. They wait for a return, which could take, weeks.
Right.
One thing that we do that's very unusual, I think the only people in the industry that do it, is our stuff is field repairable. Wow. If you buy a pallet of lights, you're going to get the electronic guts for 2 spares. So that it's like, oh, wow, light went out. Take it down, swap the stuff, fix it, put it back. It's like changing a tire. It takes about 10 minutes. And that way you're not down for 2 weeks. Worst case, you're down for, whatever part of the day where you just noticed the light was out. Reliability is a big deal. It's not unusual. If you ask guys who are running big grows, say, how many lights did you replace this month? 6, 4, 12. It depends on how many they have. But 10% a year is not unusual.
That's amazing.
Shouldn't be that way. It's crazy. I mean, would you replace 10% of your home electronics every year? You got 4 TVs in the house, every 18 months, one of them stops. It's like, I don't think so.
I think that's how my house is right now.
At least your water heater now.
Yeah, washer broke last week. Water heater broke last night.
Cold showers. It's good for you.
Oh
I hear it.
I disagree. It wasn't good for me at all. My wife was yelling, "Shut up!" as I'm in the shower,
screaming.
Ah! Yeah. I have a random question for you.
I love these.
Have you happened to see the footage that the Navy has released with these UFOs flying?
I saw that. It's all over social media. You know how many people sent me that? It says, "Hey, what is that thing?" So, like I would know. I don't know what that is.
Well, man, if you don't know what it is, then I don't know anybody.
Well, if he doesn't know, it's 100% UFO. If he doesn't know,
I don't know what it is. That's what the U is, unidentified. I'm not going to help you there. If they can't identify it, sure as hell I can. The thing that's interesting with that is you don't know what you're looking at. I mean, did somebody build one of these and we don't know? Or has somebody come visiting with their latest high tech? I view it might be alien teenagers just out joyriding. It's like, hey, I got the keys to Dad's spaceship. Let's go tooling around. Let's go buzz Earth and harass those people. They freak, man. I mean, they hate it when I come zooming through town. It's like when you go decoding ancient writings that people don't know how to read the script or can't read I don't know, what is this? It's a chicken, slanty line, spiral line, and they figure all of it out. The one thing that the archaeologists have never come up with is, here's a Sumerian joke book. They're around. They probably think they're religious texts and they just don't get it. It's like, what is this? I don't get it. It's not funny. Well, it's not funny 7,000 years later. But it wasn't one time. Some jokes don't stand the test of time. But you never know. I think if there are alien creatures flying around in the upper atmosphere, they might not have serious economic or military missions. They may just be screwing around. You never know.
Yeah.
They could be like bikers of the galaxy. Hey man, what are you doing Saturday? I don't know, man. Let's go ride. Where are we going? I don't know.
That'd be
that
the
blue
life.
planet.
That'll be the life.
Wouldn't that be the life? Yeah, I was wondering why we don't all have our silver spandex jumpsuits like they say Fagin says in IGY in that song. It's like, hey, I thought we were all going to be flying hoverboards by now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy they got electric cars. That's cool. My buddy Nick's got an electric Jetta. It's like, that's neat. But where's the hoverboards and stuff?
Yeah. We were promised hoverboards.
Oh, flying cars by now. Are you kidding me?
Well,
at my age, that we were all flying cars by now.
See, I think flying cars would be fun. The problem is flying cars require pilots or serious autonomous hardware. Now, the serious autonomous hardware, if you think, could you just imagine the amount of stored energy in something that's at, let's say 5,000 feet doing 200 knots, and the computer goes stupid, which they do on occasion. Maybe there's a bug in there, as Ada Lovelace would have it, an actual moth eating the circuitry. Something bad happened. And then you say, hey, okay, dude sitting in the left seat, do some of that pilot stuff. And the guy sitting in the left seat doesn't know how to do pilot stuff. It's Bob from accounting, and he's flying his autonomous car. He is hosed. This is why we don't have them. because you figure the guys who are going to be writing the flying car software, like the guys writing the autonomous car software, they're not missile guys or guidance guys. These are guys who are writing Windows code.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the reliability that they've gotten so far is exceptional when you consider, what they started with. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think for full autonomy, that's going to be tough.
Well, I know you got a hard stop coming up. I'm sorry about that technical difficulty that we had there.
Yeah.
It's speaking of bugs, a real live blue screen. I hate seeing that. I've got some phone calls.
I'm starting not to like blue for some reason
Yeah.
after this interview and the blue screen that popped
Yes.
up.
Or as we call it, the 440 nano screen.
The 440 nanometer screen of abject failure.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a-
How do people find Revolution Micro lights?
Easiest thing to do is just go to the website, revmicro.com, and there's everything. We're pretty neurotic about everything. We publish everything. We open source the protocol for the controller, so if you want to hook up to, you can do that. The light test from CSA, the UL reports, FCC, everything's up there. That way, if people say, hey, do you have that? Yep, website. But I want a copy of that website. It's all up there. It's easy to find.
Outstanding.
And it's a great website, and I think definitely the best light in the industry, and bar none.
Well, I'm glad you like them. We like them. I've got one growing downstairs in my basement, growing culinary herbs, I might add, since it's Georgia. But I have the stickiest, dankest basil in
Nice.
we actually grew a rosemary plant, and the thing turned into this big ball under the LED. And it did significantly better under the LED than another rosemary plant that was same age, same size outside. I mean, this big ball that was covered with all this white, sticky rosemary stuff on the outside. And man, I'm telling you, we were cooking with it. It's amazing. And now that I've moved it outside, because we started in the winter, it's doing fine, but under the sun, but not as well. Interesting.
That is
That
interesting.
is.
Little bit of extra red, a little bit extra blue, a little bit of tweaking and touching. The fact is, we can do better indoors, than you can outside. The sun isn't perfect; it's just free.
Right.
Yeah. Well, free's good.
I
I like
like
free. I like free.
Well, it's like more is better than less, sooner is better than later, and free trumps all. That's how I always.
There you go.
Do you know any Sumerian jokes or other jokes?
I don't know any decent Sumerian jokes. I mean, I wish I did. The only thing I know is people complain about their kids playing around with their iPhones and stuff too much. It's like, yeah, I bet you the Sumerians probably complain their kids spend too much time with their tablets as well.
Yeah.
That whole writing thing, it's ruining the youth of today. Whatever the latest and greatest is, it's got to be bad. It's like rock and roll is going to be the death downfall of us all. And then it's like, you don't play much of that on the radio anymore. So it's like, well, now hip hop's the bad thing. Jazz was bad for a while, and there's nobody in my entire family but me who even likes it.
I love jazz.
Beethoven was out there for a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's so outre. It's like, not really.
So, as a rundown, $900 light, 2,300. What was the unit that you said? The
Micromoles per second.
micromoles per second. Reliable. You're the designer. You guys build it. You've got an ISO 9000 certified lab, and it's just top-notch stuff.
Yeah.
And
Good stuff works. The thing that we like to tell people is we used to have 11, but the 12th recently showed up. In 3.5 years of shipping lights, we have had 12 returned. And it's like, that's not bad out of 30-something thousand pieces.
That's ridiculously well. I mean, that's
It's
ridiculous.
really, really low. But
Yes.
you think about it, it's like, of the satellites that have been put on orbit, exactly how many of them say, I'm sorry, I know it was $2 billion, but it didn't work. Sorry. It's like, just doesn't happen. These lights are run twice by automated equipment and twice by people in two different departments who have two different checklists. And it's like, by the time, we always joke that we don't sell new equipment. It's all used by the time you get it. It's got almost 40 minutes or an hour of actual runtime on each light before it leaves the door. Most manufacturers, they don't even power up 100%.
Sure.
This is called in the business 100% QA, which means everyone tested. We test every one 4 times.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
So far, out of the box failures have been zero. No one has ever reported a plug it in and don't work, ever.
It's like
That's amazing.
with our batteries, we have what I think is an abysmal failure rate from the factory, but by the time it leaves here, they're all beautiful. And the failure rate in the field is near zero, but we catch it here with quality control and running it through its paces. I'm going to steal that from you. We don't sell new batteries.
They're pre-tested.
They all have a little bit of experience. It's like Richard Branson would say, more experience than the name they employ.
Love it.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. Greg Richter from RevMicro.com, Revolution Micro, grow lights, fantastic LED lights. Thank you so much for your time again, and hope to talk to you soon about ghost detectors and things like that.
We can do that next time. We don't have to talk about lights. We build all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure having you, Greg.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
He's incredible. I mean, the company speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, never a dead, unpacking a dead light.
Yeah.
And only 12 have went down in the last 5 years or so. It's amazing.
He's a fascinating guy. If you go through his blog, he built he needed a bridge built across his property to get I don't know, to traverse a creek or something like that. He built the bridge.
Yeah.
He needed power. He had a waterfall. He built his own little hydroelectric apparatus.
Oh my goodness! Did he really?
Yeah, he's a fascinating guy. I mean, anybody that built a jet in their garage is next level tinkerer.
Yeah.
And
some people see a problem and it's like he just probably it's just a picture comes in his head how to fix it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's smart enough to pull it off.
One of these days, I'm going to build an awesome grow room in my basement. Perfect grow room, and I don't think a grow room could be perfect if it didn't have these LED lights in it.
Agree.
They're just they're efficient, they're cheap, they're reliable, and guy knows his stuff.
He sure does.
Surrounds himself with other geniuses, I suspect, and they get this done.
Yep.
But well, except for the technical difficulties, another great show.
Great show. He's incredible to listen to and learn from, that's for sure. You know, I hope a lot of people end up reviewing this online and, you know, at least having the opportunity to talk to him about his lights and buying them.
Yep.
You know?
And his ghost detectors.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time. Yeah. That's cool. I'm excited about that.
All right.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Have a great day.